So Vegeta challenges Tagami 2 for the 2-star Dragon Ball, but number 2 assumed it was a roast battle and flat out tells the prince to go back to being breastfed. This was now personal for Vegeta, so he initiates with a ki blast, to which the pair of them take it to the sky where the prince avoids being sliced like bread. Vegeta fires another energy ball doing completely zilch, but does this to catch number 2 off guard, however he's already 2 steps ahead. We could not call this a Vegeta fight without him spamming his signature technique, so the Tagami literally responds by flexing his height on the prince. That was just unnecessary, and besides, what is there to flex? Cause even if the wish wasn't made, Vegeta would still be leagues shorter than the Tagami. Anywho, Vegeta proceeds to dish out the most scrumptious combo, ending with another one. Afterwards, number 2 dashes right through the smoke, slashing the prince with his trident, but he's got those swipes locked down as if he was using a stylus from the Nintendo DS. If you remember that console, shout out to you. Oh my god, blood is finally back in modern animated Dragon Ball. We all know that this is a much better way to show battle damage than using dashed lines and skin and clothing like in Super. But to be fair, what else could they do if they had to air the show on a children's time slot? Meanwhile, number 2 slashes in a star shape to send Vegeta into the ocean, but the prince realised he was not alone and suddenly a Kraken comes out of nowhere trying to eat this man for lunch. Did the Kraken really not see the size of Vegeta? Because the Saiyan practically has the nutritional value as a lunchly at this point in time. Anyway, Vegeta charges up his ki to make a break for it out of harm's way, but number 2 smacks him right in the cheek, causing him to fall off balance, and it was a depressing day for us Vegeta fans because the Kraken ends up munching on our glorious prince. Whoever thought of the sick idea to conclude the episode like this is so diabolical, and what makes it even worse is that Goku gets a fair one-on-one, whereas Vegeta gets flat out jumped like it's JJK. Thankfully, Vegeta did not get digested and now takes this seriously by transforming into Super Saiyan to evade the Kraken's clutches. Tagami 2 is then inspired by Vegeta's moves, which distracts the prince enough for the Kraken to swallow him whole once again. However, Vegeta generates a bunch of electricity like Electro, forcing the Kraken to vomit him out. He then sets his sights for number 2 like a Neanderthal, and uses his immense speed to avoid the same fate as Gojo, before denting the Tagami's cranium and also kneeing him right in the cheek. Number 2 proceeds to miss every single jab from his trident, and that's when he realizes that both him and Vegeta are evenly matched. Never saw this knowing that he cannot let this slide, so he proceeds to cast spells on his creation like Doctor Strange, and this causes Tagami 2 to receive his very own power-up, which has him glowing like a neon billboard. It was at this point I knew that the writers were doing everything in their power to make sure that Vegeta does not get this win. Anywho, number 2 full-on stuns Vegeta to give him a good old bath, but also tries his very hardest, ensuring that the prince doesn't dare to escape. Vegeta throws a ki blast for the billionth time, but the Tagami really said talk to the hand, but then number 2 does such a devious combo by ignoring Vegeta's punch, filling his lungs to the brim with water, and ends it off by having Vegeta glow like an anglerfish, hitting him with the... Vegeta lays in a seabed, now remembering that Bulma is watching this fight, so he ferociously powers up, ripping a page right out of Broly's book by creating a typhoon within the ocean, and all I'm gonna say is that we finally won, cause...
You can spar with me at full strength. Use your Super Saiyan 3 like Goku did.
What's the word, Captain? I think I caught you lacking. There are 9 more.
If you told a Dragon Ball fan 10 years ago that Vegeta would be the one using Super Saiyan 3, they'd send you right into the insane asylum. Also, I love that you could distinguish Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 from its previous users, because he's actually got the original design, making him look like Supersonic. Anywho, Vegeta's new form has number 2 trembling in fear, so he tries to muster up the courage to attack, but Vegeta has already saved him the trip. The prince proceeds to send the Tagami scuba diving before joining him as well, and notice how he's still got his arms crossed, solidifying that he makes up a majority of Vegito. He then pulls a Yardrat Goku by blocking the trident with a singular finger, continuing to do so for every one of the Tagami's jabs. However, Vegeta goes above and beyond by snapping the trident in half, which has number 2 regretting that he did not enchant it with unbreaking. A second later, the prince unleashes a kick which parts the sea exactly like Moses, and attempts to break the Tagami's block solely with his feet before using number 2 as a literal pinball. Vegeta then fires a Super Saiyan Saiyan 3 powered Gallic gun, causing the Tamagami to grip it like his life depended on it. But that was actually a red herring, because Vegeta charges in with the most devastating punch. So devastating in fact that a part of number 2's aura literally shattered into pieces. The battle meets its conclusion by the Tamagami soaring in the sky, but Vegeta is able to catch him on the shoulder, and this marks the day that him of all people has given Super Saiyan 3 its first canon win. Vegeta now has to beat Tamagami 2's minigame to obtain the 2-star Dragon Ball. So number 2 spawns a sheet of paper to give Vegeta your typical maths problem in school. You know, like the ones that begin by saying, Billy has 15 sweets, how many could he possibly have left after sharing with all his friends? That kind of thing. However, the Tamagami makes it near impossible to answer by blitzing through each piece of paper like it's a 100-slide PowerPoint presentation. And all I had to do was to so as much glance at Piccolo's reaction to know that Vegeta was completely finished. Anywho, number 2 rounds off the question by asking how many sweets does Chihiro the snake eat, before giving the prince a 5-second countdown to answer. But in the nick of time, Vegeta answers by saying that Chihiro eats 0, and his whole reasoning was based off common sense because snakes don't eat sweets to begin with. So the Tamagami confirms that Vegeta's deductive reasoning is on par with L's, and hands over the 2-star Dragon Ball to the prince, signifying that they have now 100%ed the second demon world. Goku also had an impressive battle with the previous Tamagami in the third demon world, so please click here if you're interested.